Hey, all, Michael Lunsford here, Citizens for New Louisiana. And listen, I have Miss Natalie with me, who is running for District Court Judge, the 16th Judicial District. That's Division F. Now, what does that encompass? What area is it?
That encompasses all of Iberia, St. Martin, and St. Mary parishes. So
it's a pretty big area.
It's a very big area. I think it's 200 miles long from Amelia to Orneville. So
wow.
Huge district. Yes.
I imagine you burn a little gas driving around. Burn up some shoes, walking, all of that stuff, right?
I think we've probably put about 10,000 miles on our vehicle so
that's
far.
That's a lot of miles.
Yes, absolutely.
So there was the primary earlier, November the 3rd.
November 3rd, yes.
She made it through the primary. Then we have to go and do the runoff, 30 days, or about a month later. So right now you're a parish councilman.
I am, in Iberia Parish.
In Iberia Parish. And how's that been for you? Have you enjoyed that?
Oh, absolutely. I've had a lot of fun. You know, when I came on to the council, we had an administration that, the prior administration, they weren't even going to the council meetings. There was very little communication between the administration, the council. There was a lot of fighting. And my goal was to bring communication back and get people working back together. And I think that's a strong suit that I have is getting people to communicate. And it didn't take us very long. By the end of our first term, you know, I started with the council members. We started having a lot of socials and started interacting, became friends where we respect each other.
Right.
We started working together. Then we moved on to bringing the administration in and brought in the administration. And proud to say that the council and the administration, that all of that fighting has gone on. We don't always agree.
Right.
And that's okay. We don't need to agree. But it's not fighting, and we're all working together for the good of the parish. So it's been very rewarding in that sense.
That's great. So you're running for district judge.
I am.
And so obviously you're an attorney.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your motivation for running for district judge and your inspiration, I guess, to get involved in that way.
Well, I guess I was practicing law maybe 5 or 6 years when, you know, as an attorney, a lot of times, especially in custody cases, you go to court and you pretty much have a feeling of, you know, how strong or weak your case is and can predict what the outcome is going to be. And I was pretty confident in this case. And after the trial, the father had just testified that he had been abusing drugs every day of his life since he was 13 years old. So that boosted my confidence a little bit. And when I lost that custody case, I had to really take a look and see what's going on.
Right.
And I looked at the judge, and I had a judge that had political aspirations, and I looked at the opposing attorney who had political aspirations. And right then and there, I knew that politics do exist in the courtroom.
Oh, yeah.
Political decisions are being used to make decisions that affect our families, our children, our businesses. And I knew right then and there that I had to start fighting for something better. And I began the battle then, and I haven't stopped.
Well, that's great. So speaking of political connections and political battles, I know it's been really controversial, these legacy lawsuits.
Yeah.
So you're an attorney, you practice general law, which includes just about everything. You talked about criminal defense, you talked about just all the different civil and criminal things that you've worked in. How do legacy lawsuits fit in, and have you been involved in any of that? How does that look?
Well, I mean, obviously the legacy lawsuits are devastating to our community. You know, we depend on the oil and gas industry in our community, and I think everybody around here sees the effect of what's going on with those legacy lawsuits. On the Parish Council, we did very early on pass a resolution that would say that we would not support any of those lawsuits being filed on behalf of the parish. And proud to say that was voted on unanimously by the Parish Council. So so far we've been able to keep Iberia Parish out of them, and glad for it.
Well, that's fantastic.
Ultimately, it is the decision of our district attorney, and they have the sole decision to make it, but the council has expressed their desire to not participate in it.
Yeah, it's key in our area, especially South Louisiana. We're tremendous oil and gas
Oh yeah.
industry, and have traditionally and historically that's been kind of our bread and butter. And these lawsuits have just been devastating to what's been going on.
Well, I tell people that my dad is a retired attorney. He practiced law for over 50 years. But when I was in the third grade, he left the practice of law for a while and opened a business at the Port of Iberia. So I was raised at the Port of Iberia. I actually lived at the Port of Iberia when I first got married. I learned how to driving welding trucks.
Wow.
So, I have a very long history with the oil and gas industry. Worked at all of them. My husband worked at them. So, they're very near and dear to my heart, and I understand what they mean to our economy.
So experience-wise, Division F is a general law. So your experience is a pretty good mesh for general law,
yes.
right?
In the 16th Judicial District, we don't have specialized courts. We do have drug court, but outside of that, the judges sit and listen to every type of case that's brought to court. So in Division F, the court calendar is out for next year. So 65% of the days that a judge is going to be sitting on the bench in Division F is going to be in civil cases.
Okay.
So 35% will be dedicated to criminal cases. Okay. I have a Bachelor of Criminal Justice. That's where my roots began. I've practiced criminal law. My civil practice, my general practice, my private practice is just a general civil practice where I've done just about any type of civil case that there are. I've done family law, I've done succession, I've done real estate, I've done business, corporate law, you name it, I've done it. So I do have the most diversified experience and the most extensive experience. And the type of practice that I've had has been trial work. I go into the courtroom and I actually try cases. It's not that I'm at my office doing contract law or something like that, that I'm not in the courtroom a lot. I'm in the courtroom trying cases. So
you have a pretty good feel for what goes on in the courtroom and how this plays out on a regular basis. So that's great. And Division F being rather, I don't say generic, not specialized, and you participated in all the different types of law means you're a pretty good fit, it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's very important that you have a judge that has that type of experience because, the election's December 5th. You get sworn in after the first of the year. The first day is January 5th. You're in criminal motions. January 6th, you're in civil rules. So you are hitting the ground running. There is no time for a learning curve. One day you might be deciding whether or not evidence is being included or excluded in a murder trial. And the next day you might be deciding how much time a child's going to spend with mom and how much time a child's going to spend with dad.
Wow.
So, it's very important. These are big decisions. So it's very important that you elect a judge that has experience in all of it and can hit the ground running.
So we're kind of coming towards the end of our video here. So if you want to address the voters directly and just express to them your reasons why you're the best candidate, then here's your opportunity to do that.
Well, I'd just like to say that I've been practicing law for about 26 years. I've been fighting for people and trying to help people for the last 26 years. I've been, helping the moms. I've been helping the dads. Whether you're a victim of employee theft, where you're a victim of domestic violence, anything of those natures, I've been fighting for people and fighting to make sure that their rights and justice is served for them. I'm asking to be able to fight for people in a different capacity as the judge. And I think as a judge, I have a greater impact on people's lives and can try and make a greater difference than what I'm doing now. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a proud military mom. I can relate to the people that come before me in the courtroom. I've maintain my independence. I don't have any political favors that I owe. I haven't been endorsed by all the political powerhouses. And so if you come into my courtroom, you can trust that you're going to be heard. I'm going to listen to you. You're going to be treated respectfully. You're going to be treated fairly. And that the decisions that I render are going to be based solely on the facts and the evidence that are presented in the courtroom, and there won't be other political or outside influences that are making my decisions for me. So,
and that was your primary reason for getting involved?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So social media, do you have a Facebook page or any ways folks can get in touch?
Absolutely. We're on every type of social media there is. We are on Facebook at Natalie for Judge. We have a website, natalieforjudge.com, and that's the number 4. We are on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we're even on TikTok.
Awesome. Wow.
We're even on TikTok.
That's one I don't hear very often.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, look, Ms. Natalie, thank you so much for coming in.
Well,
it was
thank
such
you
a
so much
pleasure
for
to chat
having
with
me.
you. And look, get in touch with her. And look, it's coming up. Early voting is already underway through, I think, Friday after Thanksgiving, or Saturday after Thanksgiving. So if you're an early voter, you have an opportunity to do that now. Otherwise, the election is December the 5th. And
number 75, Natalie Broussard.
Awesome. Thanks, you all, for tuning in, and we'll keep doing these.